Tasha.
I'm Shanine.
And it's the Rascals. That's gonna be a thing? Okay, I'm rocking with it. So this is how we met. Why did I just get nervous?
Why did you just get nervous?
I just got nervous.
Mrs. Rascal.
I just got nervous. Okay.
Order small. So I figured we would start how we even ended up where we were at where we met, because you had this theory that we would have met anyway. So I think it's cute to share, how we even ended up at school in the first place, because we met in college.
Yeah, go ahead. You can start.
Okay,
good. Do you?
And I'm gonna key this off. The reason why we're taking turns with the first time we met is because Passion don't actually remember the first time she met me.
I do remember the first time I met you.
No, the first time you remember meeting me is what you recall.
In that way, I remember the first time I met you. Right. I remember the first time I met you, baby.
Anywho.
Wordplay.
We both attended same university here in Chicago. I had already been there for about 2-3 years. Decided to apply for this resident assistant position because I wanted to stay on campus and not have to pay for it. Let's just be honest. Didn't realize it was a glorified babysitting job for adults, but I digress. So I applied for this position. I have this interview, and there's a multi-round interview situation. So of course you do your paper interview, you have to do an essay, and then you come in for these face-to-face group interviews with all the other candidates. Pasha was already an existing RA, and she participated in my group interview. And I think you were in my individual interview as well. These interviews collectively were maybe 2-3 hours. Pasha has no recollection of that. And you are going to hear in her story when she thinks she met me, which was months later, but I digress.
Okay, so just a comment. I remember the group interview, and I remember her hair. I don't remember seeing her though. Her hair was huge, so it was hard not to miss. But I don't remember Shanine, my future wife, being in that room. I wasn't even looking for her. All right, so I remember her. It was about maybe a week before the first day that all of the students came back to the dorms, and
it was right before RA training started.
It was? My dad was helping me out with something in my room, and I was walking him out. So as I'm walking him out so if you live in a dorm or visit anybody in a dorm, you got to sign in, sign out, etc. So as I'm walking him out, Shanine is walking into the lobby with someone that I was friends. We were acquaintances at that point because we had mutual friends. So I didn't remember that she was there until probably a year ago. So anyway, Shanine comes in and she had a bob or something.
I had a bob.
And she had one of these one shoulder dresses. It had chokehold on us back then. But anyway, she had a one shoulder strap dress, and it had flowers all over it. And it's crazy that I saw this, but because she's only 4'11". But all I saw was legs. They was chocolate and glistening. And even though my parents act like they don't know what's going on with me, I think my dad knew what was happening as it was happening, so he checked himself out. I don't even remember when the man left, okay? And instantly, I turned myself to Shanine. I'm like, hey, you need some help with your bags? Because she had groceries or something like that. And that's what I remember. She said I walked her all the way to her room with helped her with her groceries and stuff.
Oh yeah, she was landing on thick, y'all, and I didn't even recognize that she was trying to hit on me. I was just like, oh my God, look at my coworker. She is so helpful. Trying to help yourself to this puss.
Yes.
But she like helped me to the room. She carried bags for me. We chit-chatted for a little bit. She was like, my room is right upstairs. I always keep snacks and things and movies. If you ever just want to hang out, here's my number. I can show you how to write incident reports because they got to be written a certain way. Now, I will tell y'all, knowing what I know about Passion now, I should have knew that was a lie because Passion wasn't writing no damn incident reports.
It wasn't that. I wasn't. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Let's move
Okay,
on.
you right. Okay.
Okay.
Anywho, the reason why I like to talk about where we were when we met is, and we talk about this all the time with our friends and just like different people in our lives, that a lot of folks are just like, oh my God, look at y'all. Y'all just work. Y'all, it's just this, it's just that. And it's like, now it is, right? It wasn't always like this. And when we met, at the time, I was a single, celibate, 22-year-old, going into her senior year of college, taking 22 credit hours, a new RA, 2 internships. I didn't have time for nothing, nobody. I was a homebody. All I wanted to do was sit in my room and read books and watch movies. Well, specifically Law and Order, but I digress. That was who I was. That was my life. And so going into a relationship and dating in general, also adding the cherry on top, I had never dated a woman at that. So like whole new ram. We had to get through some things.
Oh yeah, we had to get through a couple of things. Where I was at the time, excuse me? Where I was at the time is living my best life, okay? I was very much that girl who would go out 4 to 6 times a week. I had a part-time job. Eventually, I had a part-time on campus, part-time off campus, full-time, on top of being a RA, and still keeping up with my party schedule, social life, okay? Plus, I was dating. I wouldn't even call it dating. I was out here enjoying myself. If I was talking to you today, I'm talking to you tomorrow, or someone else, or I might be talking to you this morning and talk to somebody at night. I was having a great time. But at the same time, I wasn't really, according to myself. And I ain't had no complaints. But according to myself, I wasn't shady with it. I told people, like, hey, especially if you was a guy, because I did date. I did date guys in the day, so especially if you was a guy, you knew. Like, I told you that I was not only interested in women, but most likely I was most likely with a woman, and that was our condition of dating. You need to be okay with this. If you wasn't, then okay, bye. But single-ish. You said I was single-ish.
You were single-ish.
I gotta start writing these with you.
Let me tell y'all something.
Single-ish.
So
we already talked about it. What are we doing now? Oh, your perspective of it? Okay.
So Pasha had a boyfriend. She wasn't for real single. Okay. Though she acted like she was. You were single from a women perspective when we met. Maybe I should say that. But not from a guy perspective.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was cheating.
Yeah.
Was I cheating?
Yes.
I was flirting, but I wasn't doing
but
nothing.
You were trying.
If I had the opportunity, I would have. Yes.
She was trying. And let's be clear.
I would have. Yes.
Let's be clear.
Definitely.
We're not talking about the whole trajectory of our relationship, but I do want to make something very clear, and where she puts this in the video, the editing, all of that's on her. But I want to make something very clear that Mrs. Rasco, right now to this day, will tell people I tricked her. I tricked her. I took this party girl who was living her best life and turned her into this married, kept woman who liked to be at home lighting candles and all this other stuff. But let me be clear, because we met, again, the flirting and all of that didn't start happening until the end of July, early August. We didn't start dating until like September-ish. And I don't think
According to her.
We ain't started dating until September, okay? And we weren't even super serious. But I continued to tell her, like, girl, leave me alone. This ain't what you want. Go on somewhere.
Dating. Right.
Yes.
We started dating.
Yes.
We weren't exclusive. Or
you weren't exclusive.
No, I was not. Don't, baby, we so fine. Don't go here.
Find it? Okay. Yes. But I kept trying to just tell her, leave me be. But she was so adamant of getting her little piece of this. And now look at her.
Well, Shanine is very clear. During that time, why we weren't clear, my headspace was, I was fully aware that I was with a woman who had never been with a woman before, and I mentally went to a place where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have my fun, we're gonna enjoy each other, but I'm not gonna put all my eggs in one basket. Like, I'm not gonna put a halt to everything that I have going on, which honestly,
look at all them eggs.
Which honestly, at the time, I had nothing really going on. I was just enjoying myself, but I wasn't going to put myself on hold or on halt for a woman who, one, never had been with another woman before, and two, I knew I really liked her. So I knew I really liked her. It wasn't. It didn't. I mean, back then, if it wasn't fun, I wasn't doing it. So it didn't seem fun.
She just called me boring, y'all.
It didn't seem fun to be like, oh yeah, I just met this heterosexual woman who I just started hanging out with and having a good time and stuff. So I'm gonna stop talking to everybody because we're gonna be together forever. That was never my interest. So I came to my senses because, y'all, I was gonna lose her. She was gonna leave me and not even tell me, y'all. She had a graduation date, and I was never gonna hear from her again. And by then, by the round, what? I wanna say between like February and April, I was like in love. I was falling in love, and at that point, she had already made her decision that she was gonna leave me.
Okay. Pause. First of all, I would love to hear from folks if you have ever ghosted someone and why you ghosted them. Quote unquote ghosted. I want to hear the stories, okay? But I'm going to also ask you all to listen to my perception of this event that she's explaining, and I want you all to let me know your thoughts, whether or not you would have done something similar or if you would have approached it differently. I want to know. So here was my thought process. She's right. I was planning that once I graduated in May, because again, I had just started my senior year when we started dating. I had in my mind that if by the time I had graduated, she had not made a decision on her own accord that she wanted it to be monogamous with just me and her, okay? That was it. Okay, it's been great. Enjoyed this over the school year. Deuces. My reason behind that is because I feel like a lot of times we give people these ultimatums, and what happens? They get it together, or they course correct, or they then begin to behave in the way in which we want them to, at least for a period of time, until they feel like they've reset the clock on your, on your disdain, or you giving them
BS meter.
Yes, right? And so for me, I'm like, well, if I tell her, you know what, listen, if you don't decide you want to be just with me and me only by the end of the school year, we're done. And then she only course corrected the behavior because she was issued an ultimatum, and not because, wow, I really love and care about and want to be with this person, and on my own accord, I am making a decision in this moment to be with them. No pressure, right? That was my
intent. We didn't know about each other yet. How direct I am, and her thought process. And when she makes a decision about something, that's what it is. Like, it's no going back or anything.
Period.
Half the time I didn't even know that she liked me, and I was expecting her to come to me like, okay, I'm ready, or okay, I take you seriously, and she never did that. She was very passive aggressive with it. How did we get here? So my turning point is at the time I was dating two people. I was dating Shameen and one other person, and I got sick. Like I got very sick. I don't even know if I told my mom how sick I got. And I saw this woman who did still at the same time didn't really know me. Like at this point was really just getting to know each other. And I knew what her schedule looked like. I knew what was a priority to her. And she didn't drop everything. She fit me into her schedule. She came and checked on me. She took my keys. She fed me. She gave me medicine. And it was crazy because the other person I was dating at the time could barely even answer their phone, and I knew their schedule too. So when it came down to it, that's actually was a turning point for me to pay more attention to this woman, and not the things that she says to me, but the things that she does to me, how she makes me feel. What did she do when I talk? Was she listening to me? Did she buy me things that I like? Did she buy me things at all? Like these different things was just fitting and just made sense to me. Like, okay, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. Let's see what happens. So,
yeah, I think for me, the same things that when we talk about what makes us whole for each other, the very things that made us choose each other, I think, right? So, maybe the prioritization, making sure that you knew you were loved through action and things of that nature. And for me, it was having someone who was just
that's a crap.
no, I don't cry with Thug. For me, it was. Oh, don't be bringing my water sign into this. It was having someone who Pasha is very, to her point, she is very direct, but she has the biggest, most genuine, kind heart of any human being I have ever met on this planet. There are probably only two other people on this planet who I would consider nearly as Christ-like when we talk about what it means to be Christ-like and loving each other and loving one's neighbor and being there for people and humanity. There are very few people who I feel genuinely exhibit those characteristics, and she did. And so, like, when I fell in love with her, it wasn't even because of how she treated me. It was watching her with her siblings. It was watching her with her godchildren, watching her with her friends. It was eventually, when I decided to marry her, watching her with my mother and sister. And so she's always just been so attentive and so loving to the people that she cares about. It was just watching her in that space that I was just like, oh yeah, like this is what I want. And because of that, it has continued to help me be a better person. And I think that's what's important, to have someone who contributes to your growth as a human being. And she does that for me and has done it since day one. And so, it hasn't been an easy journey. It still has its roadblocks for sure because we're human, but I couldn't see myself with anybody else. I kind of like you or whatever.
Some days I still don't know shit like me.
At least 4 to 5 days out of 7.
Right? So that was how we met.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be a harder conversation.
Grow.
So serious.
Grow.
So make sure you like and subscribe. Check out some of our videos.
Yes.
And we'll see y'all next week.